Okay, people, let's address the elephant in the room. The Philadelphia Eagles looked awful versus the Washington football team this past week. They looked bad. And if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan today, you should be ashamed and embarrassed by your football team's performance this past Sunday. The Philadelphia Eagles, they got out-coached, they got out-muscled, they got outclassed, they got out-quarterbacked in this game. Yes, Dwayne Haskins played better than Carson Wentz, in my opinion. He had a better passer rating. He made the tough throws when they needed to be made. He didn't turn the football over like Carson Wentz. He played better than Carson Wentz. And ultimately, the Philadelphia Eagles laid down to the Washington football team. They laid down. After taking a 17-0 lead, they laid down to that team. It was ugly. It was bad. And honestly, I gotta say, you have to blame Carson Wentz for this loss. I understand that there was a lot of injuries to the offensive line. I understand that Miles Sanders did not play. I understand that Alshon Jeffrey did not play. I understand that Javon Hargrave did not play. I understand Derek Barnett did not play. But guys, guess what? Washington last year, they were a 3-win football team. Philadelphia, guess what? You had a 17-0 lead and you squandered it. And Philadelphia Eagles fans told me all offseason that Carson Wentz is an elite quarterback because he can carry a roster that's loaded with injuries. Carson Wentz can't beat a 3-win Washington team up 17-0. He can't do that. Carson Wentz got paid big money for a reason. He got a big fat contract, 4-year extension, worth $32 million per year. On the road with the better team and the better coaching staff, Carson Wentz can't hold a 17-point lead. Carson Wentz had a 57% completion percentage, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 72 pass rating. That's not good enough, Carson Wentz. He was staring down wide receivers. He was missing open throws. He was holding onto the ball way too long. Carson Wentz just looked a mess in this game. And I'm not going to poo-poo Carson Wentz too much more just because we know Carson Wentz is still a fairly good quarterback. I believe Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback. We know he's talented. I expect Carson Wentz to bounce back at home versus the Rams. But I have to address this topic right here because Carson Wentz is too inconsistent to be considered an elite quarterback. The elite quarterbacks in the NFL, in my opinion, are Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, and Lamar Jackson. All 5 of those quarterbacks are more talented than Carson Wentz. All 5 of those quarterbacks are more consistent than Carson Wentz. And all 5 of those quarterbacks are more accomplished than Carson Wentz. And before you talk about Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson has a playoff win. Carson Wentz does not have a playoff win. Lamar Jackson, he's won an NFL MVP. Carson Wentz has not won an NFL MVP. I understand Carson Wentz was on his way to winning MVP in 2017, but guess what? He got hurt, and Lamar Jackson has never been hurt in his career, okay? Lamar Jackson is 20-3 for his career as a starter. Do you know Carson Wentz's record in the last 28 games? 14-14. That is lack of consistency on the part from Carson Wentz. All 5 of those quarterbacks are the elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and they're better than Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz, he can battle it out with Cam Newton, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, even Dak Prescott maybe, even though Dak Prescott is not better than Carson Wentz in my opinion. He can battle it out with those guys. Carson Wentz, he's not in the elite class, okay? And let me tell you this right now. Here's a fact. If you take away Carson Wentz's best and worst season in the NFL, you can make the argument that guy's not even close to being elite. Now, I think Carson Wentz is knocking on that door. If Carson Wentz makes a deep playoff run this year and he goes out and puts up numbers and wins a bunch of games, I will maybe put him in that elite conversation or that elite category, I should say. But let's do the evaluation right here. Carson Wentz in 2016, he was a rookie. He went 7-9 as a starter, 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 79.3 pass rating. That was his worst season as a pro. And let's be real. He was a rookie. He inherited a bad team. Okay, let's take that season away from his career. 2017, Carson Wentz. The very next year was maybe the best player in all football in 2017. 11-2 as a starter, 33 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. Okay, that's great. But let's take that season away. Let's take away Carson Wentz's best and worst season and evaluate what he is. Because if you take away Aaron Rodgers' best and worst season, that guy's still elite. Same with Tom Brady, same with Drew Brees, and same with some of these other quarterbacks out there. In the past, Ben Roethlisberger, if you take away his best and worst season, in his prime, he was still probably elite. Carson Wentz in 2018 went 5-6 and had a 69% completion percentage, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 102 pass rating, and didn't even play a full season, okay? Carson Wentz in 2019 this past year, 9-7 record, 63% completion percentage, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 93 pass rating. This past week versus Washington, he lost the game, 57% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 72 pass rating. Those are good seasons, but are they elite seasons? Not so sure. And by the way, is it fair to say that if Carson Wentz was in any other division last year, does he go to the playoffs? I don't think so. Because Carson Wentz, the final 4 games of the season last year, beat up on the weak NFC least. And I'm calling it the NFC least because that division was not good last year. See, Carson Wentz, he got fat on the NFC East last year late in the season, and he backdoored his way into the playoffs, okay? That's all cool. That's fly. I understand that he did not have a whole lot of weapons, but I can only give you so much credit for that, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has never had back-to-back winning seasons. You can't make the argument that Carson Wentz is an elite quarterback just based off of last year when guys like Aaron Rodgers go to NFC Championship games last year, when guys like Deshaun Watson win a playoff game last year, when Lamar Jackson wins an MVP last year, when Russell Wilson is making deep playoff runs, when Patrick Mahomes is winning Super Bowls. You cannot put Carson Wentz in that elite conversation. As of, what's today? I don't know what today is, but as of September 2020, Carson Wentz is not in the elite quarterback conversation. That's fine because I think Carson Wentz is a very good quarterback. You could do a whole lot worse than Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is in the top 10, but we have to stop this here, people. Carson Wentz is not elite. He's not in the elite conversation. If you think he is, you're fully mistaken. The last 28 games, 14-14 record. Carson Wentz, he can't stay healthy either. His rookie season, he was banged up a lot. His sophomore season, he has a season-ending injury. His junior year had a season-ending injury. And in the playoffs, he gets hurt, has to leave the game. There's a trend right here, people. There's a lack of consistency from Carson Wentz as far as his ability to stay on the field and as far as his production on the field as well. So all I'm trying to say, people, is, okay, let me say this. Let's not poo-poo Carson Wentz too much for looking bad versus Washington. I believe Philadelphia responds. They'll get healthier. They'll win this division. But also, let's not act like Carson Wentz is this big bad dog out there. Carson Wentz, he's pretty good, but he's not quite an elite quarterback. And as of right now, based on my book, Carson Wentz is too inconsistent to be considered an elite quarterback. As of right now, which is September of 2020. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.